On behalf of the Privacy Patrol, my colleague Jeffrey and I, Chisom Ojukwu, are honored that you have called us back to speak on the ethical implications of our proposed solution to the challenges before Palantir. This indicates to us the high value you place on the Palantir mission. As a child, I was very mischievous. I was always getting into trouble for wreaking havoc in one way or another at home. I'm sure that you can relate, Joe, because you look like you might have had some mischief in you too as a kid. But back to me. When I got caught for the mischief I created and got grounded, reprimanded, or even smacked, I took it in stride. Shrugged it off and moved on, no sweat. But you see the times I was punished for mischief another kid had committed. Like that time, Steve, my brother, for example, painted Tom and Jerry on the cushion and very conveniently fell ill immediately after. Those were the times that the punishment really hurt. Heartbreaking hurt. The idea behind AG version 2, which is what we call the algorithm solution we proposed to you yesterday, is that with it, brothers like mine will not be able to unleash such injustice ever again. More seriously though, we are convinced that AG version 2 is a cure to the injustice engendered by the challenge of human error and data inconsistencies in Palantir software. It is also the answer to the persistent problem of no transparency accusations that have trailed Palantir in the press for so long now. At the point of data input, if compromised data is fed in, the source of the inherent bias in the resulting algorithm is not the computer. The analysts and users of the data have roles to play too. Bringing this back to our example of racially biased predicting policing, it is imperative that Palantir acts fast and decisively. As the situation currently stands, Palantir's human error, data inconsistency, and transparency problems flout the UN Sustainability Development Goal 16.3, which emphasizes the need to ensure equal access to justice for all. Nobody should ever have to feel the bite of injustice. The domino effect of injustice translates into even more ethical dilemmas, namely loss of basic human rights of freedom and choice, insecurity, and ultimately poverty. With Palantir's Gotham, for example, police can search and profile people by name, but also by race, gender, tattoos, and scars. This means that following a shootout, for example, an honest plumber with a skull tattoo has a high chance of getting thrown in jail merely for being Black, male, and tattooed. Hence the question often asked, is it ethical to use predictive policing analytics? Why we believe that the answer is yes, because the technology has been very useful. The challenges of human error and data integrity, which we identified yesterday, must be addressed. Our solution is this algorithm, which will delve layers deeper into data input by requiring more distinctive details for policing, like age, place and time of birth, and even the hue, image, and age of the ID tattoo in question. Additionally, the software's predictions will no longer be accepted as fact, but rather as submissions that have caveats and need to be evaluated by human users. Lastly, the algorithm will be equipped with a segregation of duties layout, which ensures that first, users will have varying levels of access, and any actions initiated by one user will not be approved by the same user. Senior users with higher levels of access will be responsible for approval. Jeffrey will now take it from here.
Thanks, Chisom. Let us now take a look at the lack of transparency, which we identified as another challenge. In January 2013, Palantir offered its predictive policing services to the New Orleans Police Department. The firm got free access to city criminal and non-criminal data in order to train its software for crime forecasting. Neither the residents of New Orleans nor key city council members whose job it is to oversee the use of municipal data were aware of Palantir's access to reams of their data. New Orleans is not the only instance where the company has been accused of a lack of transparency, as it conducts business with government agencies and avoids the public procurement process. Palantir's work with the New York Police Department only became public when documents about its tumultuous relationship with the country's largest police force were leaked to a reporter. The sensitive nature of data means that Palantir has done business in the past in ways that have led to distrust and even loss of contracts. Even with the best of intentions, we find that the people for whom Palantir works so hard for end up with the shorter end of the stick. This lack of transparency leads to a lack of confidence in the predictive systems. Public confidence in this technology is critical because it allows people to feel unthreatened by the technology. Failing to open up to the public is an ethical failure that not only keeps the public in the dark, but also impedes the progress of this type of technology. When scenarios like this continue to play out, it becomes increasingly difficult for Palantir to convince the public that their software are not tools of over-policing and racial prejudice. More importantly, it becomes increasingly difficult for Palantir to stay true to its mission of protecting and providing for the public with the right technology. This is why we are proposing that AG version 2 will be equipped with a reporting feature, moderated by different levels of access control. One level of access, for example, could provide documentation of the kind of data being collected by Palantir in the societies where law enforcement deployed their software. We understand that as the board of directors, you will be worried about the sensitivity of your data, and rightly so. However, with the right amount of legal pressure, the Freedom of Information Act will release this information to the agencies anyway. Palantir could therefore, as a show of goodwill, be proactive in making the information available to the agencies that have passed designated levels of clearance. In this way, Palantir will diffuse potential distrust from these agencies, a part of our long-term brand revival strategy. This is also in line with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals subsection 16.10, which ensures public access to information and protects fundamental freedoms. One way Palantir can hold itself out as a more ethical company is to lead by example. As an extension of AG version 2's reporting feature, Palantir will need to evolve its culture to be more accountable. This will start at the top with the board and top executives, all the way down to the algorithm writers and personnel in charge of media and communications. Hopefully, when Palantir makes changes to its algorithm, the changes will be made publicly. Palantir can show the world that not only is it encouraging law enforcement to think twice if there are discrepancies in associations, but it is doing so publicly. In line with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16.6, these practices will develop an effective, accountable, and transparent Palantir, and by extension, institutions of a smaller mold. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful. So, what can I say? Again, just great job. I'm excited about this, and I just trust that you know how much we appreciate your hard work today and your hard work yesterday in preparing, and all the work that goes into this. And so, as I always say, we're all winners in this work, and we hope that we can really change the world for the good.